Greetings and welcome to you today on this Monday, the 29th of July. And our daily Devo today is entitled Regarding Hands. Regarding Hands. It comes from a Dickens work, which we've had snippets from on several occasions now, Dombey and Son. He knocked safely with his hook at Florence's door twice or thrice, but receiving no answer, ventured first to peep in and then to enter. Emboldened to take the latter step, perhaps by the familiar recognition of Diogenes, who, stretched upon the ground by the side of her couch, wagged his tail and winked his eyes at the captain, without being at the trouble of getting up. She was sleeping heavily and moaning in her sleep, and Captain Cuttle, with a perfect awe of her youth and beauty and her sorrow, raised her head and adjusted the coat that covered her where it had fallen off, and darkened the window a little more that she might sleep on, and crept out again, and took his post of watch upon the stairs. All this with a touch and tread and as light as Florence's own. Long may it remain in this mixed world a point not easy of decision, which is the more beautiful evidence of the Almighty's goodness. The delicate fingers that are formed for sensitiveness and sympathy of touch, and made to minister to pain and grief, or the rough hand, or the rough, they've got all this in italics, sometimes it's hard to read, or the rough, hard Captain Cuttle hand that the heart teaches, guides, and softens in a moment. Florence slept upon her couch, forgetful of her homelessness and orphanage, and Captain Cuttle watched upon the stairs. A louder sob or a moan than usual brought him sometimes to her door, but by degrees she slept more peacefully, and the captain's watch was undisturbed. Interesting scene of caring that the human heart is capable of. Some thoughts now from Gene Fisher. Dickens presents a soft image of contrast and affection in this passage from Dombey and Son. Crusty Captain Cuttle, his missing right hand replaced by a sturdy hook, knocks softly at Florence's door. Upon entering her room, the captain uses his strong left hand to cover the sleeping girl with a coat that had fallen off. He takes care that his touch is gentle so as not to wake her. In the Bible, the Lord told Jeremiah to go to the potter's house. There, Jeremiah saw the potter at work at his potter's wheel. The pot he was working on was misshapen, and as Jeremiah watched, the potter reworked the clay with his hands, gently molding it into a better pot. Then the Lord said to Jeremiah, "Can I not do with you as this potter does? Like clay in the hand of the potter, so you are in my hand." Jeremiah 18, verses 1 through 6, contains all of that. God's hands are gentle, yet powerfully built. Psalm 89 praises him, saying, "Your arm is endued with power, your hand is strong," in verse 13. In his hand are the depths of the earth, and the mountain peaks belong to him, Psalm 95:4. Even the skies proclaim the work of his hands, Psalm 19:1. Today and every day, God holds you gently in his hands. He shapes you as a potter shapes his clay, determined to make you the very best that you can be. Isaiah 49:16 says, "See, I have inscribed you on the palms of my hands." The touch, when one human senses a loving touch from a parent or a significant other or whatever, a handshake, a firm, gripping handshake, there's something special about that. Something special about somebody being able to tone their touch to your needs. As in our Dombey and Son, the covering of this young lady back up and not waking her. The desire that the captain had for her to sleep well, to rest, to forget her troubles. We have that power. We have that ability to do that. It's been granted to us by God himself, who can do the same thing. The imagery of his hand, us being in his hands, us being the clay that he's shaping with just the right touch, with just the right pressure here to make this happen to the clay, and just the right pressure here to make something different happen to the clay. That's what he does in our lives. The imagery of his hands doing this is obviously not literal hands. It's just his work in our lives. And his work in our lives is to take this rough clay that we are and fashion us into something that resembles his Son and meets the needs that his Son meets for us, in loving us and caring for us, in making sure that we feel his touch in our lives. And oh, what a peace that brings. Regarding hands, I'm so glad. Remember as a kid, or even not even as a kid, as adults singing too, he's got the whole world in his hands. He's got you and me, baby, in his hands. And that's, again, not his literal hands, his presence, his ability to be in our lives and touch our lives in various ways that we sense ultimately are for his good, his glory, and for our good. Blessings to you today. Feel the touch of the Lord in your lives today. And if you don't, seek him. Seek him for it. Offer yourself up as willing clay in the master's hands.